Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Snetterton Farm. This is Snetterton Farm episode number 17, and it is a brand new game day. And it's been a few game days have passed by since we were last together in episode number 16, and we're just giving our Amazon seeder here a little bit of a wash, just so that we can avoid cross-contamination of seeds and fields and all that kind of stuff, and give us something to do here. Plus, this tractor was getting kind of dirty, kind of hard to see through the windshield and all that good kind of stuff. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day, and I just want to bring everyone's attention to the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and especially where it says temperature. Look at that. We've got our magical 50-degree temperature, which we need basically if we pull up our seasons menu here. We need 50 degrees. It's a magic number here, 50 degrees to plant our soybeans and our corn. And so we are basically hard at work in getting things going for this particular game day. It is Monday here on Snetterton Farm, and I am just so glad to be here and farming and putting these videos together for you all to watch. Appreciate you guys watching, that is for sure. So we'll go ahead and close that back down because that pops open from time to time. Need to get Billy Bob to take a look at that latch, I suppose. So we are going to head over here to our small little field. I think it's maybe field number 9. And we're going to basically start planting beans there in that field. And Jack is busy. He is busy cultivating the larger field just down from it, field number 12. And that is also going to be a soybean field as well. So if we can get squeezed through the gate here and go ahead and get this guy unfolding. Then what we're going to do is we're going to plant field number 9. So we're going to do this work here for you all, for me to enjoy a little bit of planting. I like to do all the different tasks that there are to do on the farm. It keeps me kind of fresh, and we're just going to kind of do this outside the cab view and not going to mess with GPS right now. So anyway, hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Let's see what day this is. Snetterton Farm number 17. So this is Thursday, October the 5th. Hope everyone is having a wonderful October. I gotta say, September has flown by. Of course, I'm still in September as I record this episode. I'm recording this episode on the 24th of September, Sunday the 24th. And of course, like I've said before, I'm working to try to get you guys a little bit of a backlog of videos to watch while my wife and I are on vacation in beautiful Rocky Mountain National Park, Estes Park, which is sort of the gateway to Rocky Mountain National Park. I know I've talked a lot about that, so I will bite my tongue and refrain from speaking any more about that, just to keep things from getting too monotonous and too boring. But that is where we are while you're watching this episode. Of course, while you are watching this episode, our vacation is slowly coming to an end. Obviously, I will be back to work on Monday the 9th of October as I look back at my schedule. So my goal has been, as far as producing videos and such, my goal has been to basically create all the videos that would air during my normal production time slots, or my normal release time slots, which are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. For now, I'm producing 2 episodes of Snetterton Farm and 2 episodes of Thornton Farm per week, and you're seeing those on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm working hard to the end of September to get enough content to get those episodes done. And of course, because we're still technically on vacation the weekend of the 7th and the 8th, I'm also trying to get episodes, at least a few episodes for the week of the 9th, just because obviously we don't get back into town. We're staying in the cabin through Saturday night, and so we will drive back to Denver on Sunday, and that won't leave me any time really to do any farming on Sunday. So I'll get back into the groove of playing Farm Sim 17 and producing content the week of the 9th. But obviously I need a few episodes to give me that buffer, because it may be a long day at work on Monday and Tuesday, the 9th and the 10th, as I play catch up. You guys know how it is. You work hard the week before vacation, and you do typically work hard the week or so after you get back from vacation. It sort of makes you think, well, should I even bother taking vacation, because I'm just so exhausted. But it's worth it. It's worth just getting away. It's worth anything. More than anything, it might be worth just the mental break. The physical break for me is not that big of a challenge, simply because I do tend to ride a desk all day long, working in an office and such. I mean, I don't do a lot of physical I don't do a lot of physical labor type work, certainly not at work. I do a little bit of it from time to time at home, just honeydew projects and stuff like that. But yeah, riding a desk all day is not that physically demanding, but mentally it can certainly be. And I know many of my viewers are in similar type of IT type work or desk type work, and I know you know how it is. And we're going to try to basically, well, the mud can throw you off. I'm not going to blame that on the mud. I cut that turn way too short. I was trying to get out ahead of Jack there, so that we would not have to have this situation, which was waiting for Jack to do his turn and his back up and everything. But oh well, not a big deal. We don't need any more equipment. So the mud is sort of perfect on this map. I've got to say that the amount of mud that Stevie put onto Snetterton Farm is perfect compared to Thornton Farm. There's a whole lot of mud on Thornton Farm, and it is almost, as much as I love Thornton Farm, and I'm really enjoying bringing you that sort of that let's play, that role play series with Thornton Farm, there's a whole lot of mud on that map. And actually, to be quite honest with you, I think there is just too much mud, especially that gate that goes from sort of around the dairy complex area down to now I am going to use GPS here. Well, actually no, we're not. We're gonna hire a worker. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hire a worker here, and so that looks pretty good, and we're just gonna go ahead and let them plant some beans here in this field as well. So fields number 9 and fields number 12 will be our bean fields, and we'll hop out really quick and run over here to the tractor here and try to get Jack moved out of the way if we need to. Hopefully he has done everything that he needed to do. I love a fresh cultivated field. A fresh plowed field, it smells so good. And of course we plowed these fields a few weeks ago now, and got them all opened up from the long hard winter here on Snetterton Farm. Of course, this is sort of setting in Colorado is what I like to call this, although I don't know how much farming is actually done in Colorado this close to the mountains. The mountains here look pretty good size. I mean, I would classify these as looking similar to our 12,000, 13,000. That one out over there might sort of look almost like a 14,000 foot peak, looking right out across there. And I don't really know how much farming would actually be done this close to those height of mountains. But anyway, not a problem. I'm not gonna get too caught up in all that. Now we're gonna go do some spraying. because we've got some of our lower fields that need to be sprayed. But what I wanted to do was just go ahead and get this tractor here booted up and go ahead and get him folded up here and get this guy moved out of the way, because otherwise Billy Bob will have some problems getting past him, because Billy Bob and Jack don't talk a lot to each other as far as, hey, would you mind doing this, or would you mind doing that, or hey, how about you move that cultivator out of the way. And these guys still tend to leave their toys wherever they sort of finish their jobs, and that's meant to kind of be a funny. So I think our cultivation stuff is done for the season. I will have to take a look at the roadmap, our checklists and everything, and see if we've got everything cultivated, but I believe we do. So you might recall, just to kind of recap, from well over 20 days ago, we started opening our fields up after the long, hard fall and winter that they kind of set idle. We started plowing and opening those fields up and putting down a coat of fertilizer, granular fertilizer, and then as our temperatures have basically been where they need to be, we have sort of taken the approach of fertilizing and then seeding. And so we've kind of left the fields in a state of cultivation. And I went ahead, by the way, and sold all of our wool that we had that was kind of clogging up the system there. Even though it auto sells by itself, it's a little slow to auto sell. And so you get that warning that pops up there at the top of the screen that says there's no more room for wool, but that's actually not a true story at all. Anyway, so we've opened these fields up, and we've basically left them in a plowed state. I think we get in back here. We've left them in a plowed state until we've been ready to basically plant. So that is what we have basically been doing, and I think that's worked out quite well. All right, so we just need to spray some fields here, because well, that's just kind of what we do. So field number 7, let me just take a peek at field number 7 here and look at its fertilization. Yeah, so field 7 and 8 need to be seeded. I just wanted to make sure that we could do that. And of course, last time I tried to spray fields, we were unable to do that because it was a bit too early. Sort of my bad on that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get backed up here into position. I do like these self-propelled sprayers. There was a John Deere one that I really liked quite a bit. Hang on, let me get this guy here up. Bear with me just a moment. All right, that's pretty good right there. Close enough for government work, what I always like to say. There was a really nice John Deere self-propelled sprayer for Farm Sim 15. And if you've been watching my channel, and I hope you have since the very beginning, back in the Paradise Hills days, I forget what model that John Deere sprayer was, but I absolutely loved it and used it on pretty much most of my maps. We can go ahead and get rid of the forecast there, don't need to look at that. And I used it quite a bit on all of my maps, and I've yet to find, although I will say I haven't looked that hard. I mean, now that I'm sort of talking about it, I'm starting to think about it a little bit, and I'm starting to say, well, it would be nice to have that John Deere self-propelled sprayer. I guess that we really haven't played a map where we needed a self-propelled sprayer. We certainly didn't need one on Lawfolds. That was a map that I played from start to finish. We certainly didn't need one on Mountain Valley Farm. That was another map that I played start to finish. Unfortunately, I was setting things up for Pine Cove Farm, and I think we had either this one or maybe another one on Pine Cove Farm. I can't remember now. I think it was this one actually. And but I don't think we ever really got around to the game broke, or that game save broke. Started having some problems, and so we abandoned that map. So this one obviously warrants a self-propelled sprayer in my opinion. It's a large enough farm, large enough fields that that we basically can benefit from what a sprayer unit like this can provide to us on the farm. And so we'll just move into position here and back up just a little bit and go ahead and lock our GPS back in and turn on our spray, and off we go again. So how are all you guys doing, gals and such? Let me know. I hope you're all having a wonderful October. I hope that the month of October has gotten started off with a good bang for you. I hope if you're a fan of football, you know, fall sports like that, I hope your teams, whatever team you might support, whether it be college or professional, I hope they're doing meeting your expectations. If not, I understand it can be a long season when your team is not doing too very well. Of course, I'll tell everybody up front, if you've watched my episodes long enough, you may know the teams that I do support or follow. At the college level, my team of choice is the University of Texas. No, I didn't have the opportunity to go there. My parents didn't have the money, and I didn't have the grades. So, you know, you often get two choices, two opportunities for going to a school like that. Either you've got the money to go, or you've got the grades. And I didn't have either one, so. That was not in my cards. I went to the University of Central Texas, which Central Texas College, you know, we called it by the fancy name, but it was really just a 2-year college. But anyway, and then obviously the professional team, football team that I support is the Dallas Cowboys, and hopefully I did not lose any viewers by admitting to that. Of course, my fans outside of the U.S. probably won't care either way about that. But anyway, so from both perspectives, and of course I'm talking about this from the September time frame. So remember that I'm recording these episodes a bit in advance here. Neither of my teams have gotten off to a lightning start. University of Texas lost their home opener on college opening day weekend, and they managed to beat San Jose State. But then again, most any team like the University of Texas should be able to beat San Jose State. And then we lost to USC last weekend in a very close game. Could have gone either way. Could have certainly, I think, had the right calls been called and everything, I think that Texas could have beat USC in that game. But hey, I digress. And the Dallas Cowboys, as far as they're concerned, they got off to a good start beating the New York Giants, but then lost when they came here to the town I live in, which is Denver, the Denver Broncos. And I do not support the Denver Broncos much further than I could throw them. It's an old rivalry that, even though I live here and everything, I don't subscribe to the theory that you have to love the one you're with. You can support any team that you want to. As I often say, there's no right or wrong way to play this game, and there's no right or wrong way to support a professional team either. You don't have to support the teams that you in the cities that you live in. Anyway, enough about that. So I've been doing a little bit. I've got multiple hobbies. I've often talked about. I hope I don't bend that boom. Just had to have. Billy Bob just had to straighten that thing the other day because Jack had practically got it twisted around a tree because he wasn't paying attention. He was responding to a text message, innocently enough, something I had sent him. But obviously I tell the guys to stop what they're doing and answer the radio or reply to a text message. Anywho, I have a multitude of hobbies that I enjoy in addition to the simulation-based gaming that obviously you all see through my YouTube channel. I dabble a little bit in photography. You know, I purchased early 2017. I think it was in February or so. I purchased, or maybe it might have been January even. I purchased a drone, and I fly it around occasionally. And you know, it's sort of twofold. I've got to say that part of it is just the interest of flying a unmanned aircraft like that. I mean, it's quite fun. When I was smaller, I was into RC airplanes, and of course RC airplanes back in the late 70s, early 80s were completely different than kind of what they are today, and not really affordable back then. Not that they're that affordable now, but obviously my situation is a lot different now than it was way back then. But I could only really fly friends and other people's RC stuff. But anyway, it was an idea that I always kind of wanted to pursue, and so the drone is sort of an easier way of flying. You can kind of obviously in the drone situation, you don't have to have a whole lot of wide open space. Even if you've got trees and stuff like that, you can still fly your drone around. Even just have to be careful. But unlike an RC airplane where you really need a clear area, much like you would need if you were putting together an airport, that's kind of what you would need with an aircraft like that. But anyway, so photography is something that I dabble in from time to time. I do plan to take the drone. Again, I'm recording this episode before vacation, so I'm talking the tents and everything is a lot different, but I do plan to take the drone. I can't fly it in Rocky Mountain National Park by it's against the law, and I'm a law-abiding citizen, so I don't break the laws with regards to that kind of stuff. But where our cabin is, I can, basically, because the cabin is outside of the national park boundaries, and I don't plan to. And we're about 1.5 miles, and I don't plan to violate that. I will fly around where the cabin is and be fine with that. But anyway, in addition to a little bit of photography that I do, I'm also occasionally, from time to time, do a little bit of woodworking. I've got a wood shop here in my garage, and I don't know if I've ever talked about my woodworking here on the channel or not. So, but I do a little bit of woodworking. I can build a few things as long as I've got a pretty good, plan. I can build just about anything. I've got a table saw, I've got a bandsaw, I've got routers, I've got surface planers, I've got pretty much almost the whole 9 yards. The only thing that I don't really have that I do wish that I had, and one of these days I will have it, I think. I really would like to have a drum sander, like a spindle drum type sander, and so anyway, so I have been. The wife has wanted me to make some wooden Christmas ornaments. So I have been. First of all, I had to get my wood shop and everything in a state of readiness to be able to do anything in the wood shop. If you're like me, if you don't do something for a while, it tends to become the collect-all of things. My garage is we just have one car because my wife does not drive. Let me adjust my course here just a smidge. I don't want to shortchange those crops out there. My wife doesn't drive. She had a driver's license in the UK, but when she moved to the US, she really didn't have an interest in driving, nor does she really have to. She works from home full time, and so we live fairly close to just about anything and everything in the area where we both work, and so she hasn't really needed a car. So that's really not part of the story. Since we have a 2-car garage, I basically walled up one side of the garage, framed it in and everything, and created more or less a storage area. And if you're, I'll kind of describe what it looks like. You know, a two-car garage is wider than the garage door itself, and that has to be that way so that you have room to open car doors, okay? To get out of the car and everything. If the garage was only as wide as the garage door itself, you could not accomplish that with two cars. So what I did, one side being a little bit wider than the other, I essentially framed that side in. Since we just have one car, I can still park in the middle of the garage door where the garage door opening is, and we can still get in and out of all sides of the car. So that's your visual there for you. And so just looking at the clock here. So I walled that, framed that in, sheetrocked it, put a couple of these bifold doors in there, and so that is kind of how I kind of keep things a bit tidy, you know, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. Well, it's been a little while since I've done much woodworking. Woodworking and my allergies are sort of a love-hate relationship, unfortunately. I really love woodworking. I like the creative aspects of what it sort of allows me to be and everything. I'm not a very creative person. You know, I'm certainly I'm envious at guys like my dear friend Eustace Farmer, who creates such wonderful artwork and stuff for his YouTube channel. I mean, if I had to do some of that stuff, it would just be all stick figures. And you know, and block letters. But anyway, I digress again. So my allergies do somewhat tend to cause me to take a slow approach to woodworking. I guess another piece of equipment that I wish that I had was a better dust collection system. I kind of use I use a large shop vac, and I have attachments for most of my tools that I can connect directly to their dust chutes and suck the sawdust into the shop vac. Actually, I suck it into a 5-gallon bucket, and then the smaller pieces go into the shop vac, or the finer particles go into the shop vac. But that kind of saves me some money on shop vac bags. But anyway, I guess I wish I had a little bit better dust collection system. But anyway, I digress. First thing I had to do, and I started this project yesterday, Saturday the 23rd, was I had to get my workbench, get the top of my workbench where I could see it, because it had kind of been the collect-all for some boxes and other stuff that we have been throwing out into the garage. Had to move my golf clubs, things like that. And yeah, I do. I used to enjoy golf, and it's really gotten to a point to where that I just don't have time to go spend several hours out chasing a little white ball through the rough, because that's usually where you find me, is out in the rough someplace. Wrong gear. So anyway, got that stuff out of the way, got access to my tools, got my table saw, rolled it out. I've built stands. You know, you can buy kits. And my table saw, my bandsaw, all my big equipment is all Delta, very nice Delta machines. And so you can buy kits that basically allow you to attach rollers, wheels, to the bottom of the equipment, and so they're kind of like it's kind of got like a foot lever on it, and so when you press it down, a third wheel comes down, and it allows the device or the piece of equipment to be rolled around, and then when you kick the wheel up, then it comes down and it sets level. And so I can roll these things around in my garage. And so I had rolled out my table saw, rolled out my planer and everything. I wasn't going to use them, but I have to kind of take those things out. I have to take my planer out to get to my table saw, because it has to go in the storage area first. And anywho, got it all drug out, got the top surface of my workbench cleared up, and then basically got access to my lathe, and got it set up on my workbench. And basically the wife wants me to turn some Christmas ornaments, so that's going to be kind of what I'm going to do for for this weekend, for today anyway, to Sunday the 24th. I'm going to be doing some turning today. Hopefully, I did a little bit of practice yesterday. I don't know if I'm going to scoot over just a little bit because even though virtually we don't waste anything per se, I still have that aspect of waste not, want not, and just doing that boom out there with about 6 or 8 or 10 feet or so of that boom sticking out there on that grass, pouring that fertilizer out there is kind of wasteful. But anyway, I'm going to be doing some turning. I did. I threw up a couple of had some wood blanks that I had kind of left over for some stuff, and I did a little sharpen my turning tools and everything yesterday as well. And so threw a blank up there and turned it around. And practice some of my cuts and creating some of the beads and stuff like that. So it's kind of like riding a bicycle in a sense that once you sort of know how to do some of these things, it does kind of come back to you fairly quick. And again, sort of the key to wood turning obviously is sharp tools, and so I took the time to do that first, obviously, because I couldn't remember when the last time I sharpened, because it's probably been at least 2 years, maybe 3 years since I've done any turning. I do from time to time I turn and create pens and pencils, writing instruments, and one of my favorite things to do is using olive wood from the Holy Land. I've got some olive tree blanks from Bethlehem, from that area of the Holy Land, and just pretty incredible wood. I actually love turning olive. I love the smell of it. I love the look of it once it's been turned and properly sanded and everything. So anyway, what I'll do is, it'll be, well, you guys are watching this video on the 5th of October, so it'll be a little while. But I'll show you guys. I'll post some pictures either on my Discord channel, or who knows, I might put some pictures over the video or something, and let you guys kind of see some of my work. So anyway, as I look over at the calendar, or as I look over there at my timer, I realize that it is coming up on 33 minutes that I've been sat here rambling on, and I need to give you guys the contest code for this episode. This is episode number 17 of Snetterton Farm, and the contest code for this episode is going to be woodworking. Let's just go ahead and make it woodworking, because that's what I've been talking about for the last few minutes. And I tell you what, I would love to hear from you guys and gals, either through my Discord channel, or if you want to leave a comment down at the bottom of the video. I'd love to hear from any of you guys that do a little bit of woodworking yourself. What kind of woodworking you enjoy doing? Do you do any turning? Do you what kind of stuff do you build in your basement or your garage workshops? Is it intricate kind of stuff? Is it, do you just do shelves, tables, bookcases, things like that? What do you do? What type of woodworking do you do? Woodworking has been something that I have done for a very long time. I've often shared with you guys the fact that I took part of the Future Farmers of America program in high school. Well, a lot of that consisted of doing woodworking and metalwork and stuff like that. I can weld as well. It's got a multitude of skills, I suppose. But anyway, so I spent 4 years in school doing that. My dad is a woodworker, or he was, before he kind of retired and got to a point to where that he couldn't stand on his feet very long. And so what else was I going to say? Anyway, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you are doing, what type of woodworking you're doing, and how long you've been doing it, and so on and so forth. And if you do some woodworking, if you do some turning or whatever, head over to the Discord server and post a picture or 2 or 5, and let us all see the work that you do. I would love to see what others are doing in the skill of woodworking. And if you don't do woodworking, if you do some other type of craft, I'd love to see that as well. Just what are you doing? So anyway, I'm going to just wash up our cultivator here, because we're pretty much done with cultivation for this season. I don't think we will need to do any more cultivation until next year on this map, and I don't think that there will be a next year as far as the video or the channel is concerned, just because this is our 24 game day season map. And well, I think by the time I play this map for 96 game days, I think I'll be pretty much done with it. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will go ahead and wash up this big guy as well here too, because I think we're kind of done with the big tractors. Well, we've got one more field that we need to plant, and then I think we'll be done with all the big stuff. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, folks. Please remember, as I always say at the end of my episodes, please take good care of yourselves, and please take good care of others. And hey, that includes your four-legged friends as well. So anyway, thank you all so much again. God bless you all. Take care. Thank you all for being such wonderful viewers, such wonderful friends and such. And I will see you the very next episode here on Snetterton Farm, or the next episode on Thornton Farm. Take care. Bye-bye.